welcome back. Now, how important do you think it is to have travel insurance when you're going abroad? We like going to Tenerife. So how important do you think it is? Now, I was thinking about this today actually, and I wanted to do a little video to tell you how important it actually is to have travel insurance. There's many a times I've been speaking to friends, people when I'm away that doesn't actually have travel insurance. They think, wow, I'm young, nothing's going to happen to me when I'm away. Well, I'm going to tell you a little story. About 2.5 years ago, me, Tammy, my little lad Ronnie, and my daughter Anaya went to Tenerife for 10 nights with my mum and dad. Now, we stayed at Laguna Park 1. So we had 10 nights in the winter. I think it was in November time. The second day, my daughter actually started getting ill. I'm putting it down to bugs, you know, winter bugs when you're traveling, etc. Surprising how much there is abroad. So we put it down to bugs. She was poorly for about 4-5 days, coughing, you know, being sick, etc. And then she got better. Well, about 3 or 4 days before we started, before we was going home, my little lad Ronnie, which was about 2 at the time, he caught it. Now I'm going to tell you something about my son Ronnie. Now, just after his first birthday, he actually caught meningitis, a really bad one. We was actually in hospital for a month. We was in Treliske Hospital here in Cornwall for a week, and then we got sent to Bristol Hospital, where he ended up having brain surgery because of the meningitis. But thankfully he's all good now. He's a lot better. He does suffer with epilepsy, which we're keeping on top of. But anyway, moving on from that. So my son got ill. Now, when he was poorly in Tenerife, was giving him, you know, I always take away Nurofen and Calpol. Always carry it when we go abroad because it's really expensive if you've got to buy it, etc. from the pharmacies. So we was giving him Calpol. The day before we was leaving, we went down to Los Cristianos. We actually forgot his medicine, so I went into the pharmacy by Los Cristianos Beach and asked for some Nurofen for kids. And the pharmacy guy actually advised me not to give it to him because he was being sick, and to see the doctor. So he pointed us in the right direction to go and see a doctor. So we walked up the road, went in the doctor's, and they was full. They had no appointments left. Well, to see a doctor was going to cost about €150. So the receptionist actually advised us to go to the local hospital. So we come outside of the doctor's, jumped in the taxi, said to the taxi, take us to the hospital, local hospital. So off we went to the local hospital. Now we got there. As soon as we went there, they asked for €400 deposit to see my son, which I paid, which, you know, I would not pay. Went to see the doctor. The doctor examined my son and looked at him and said he's got an outer ear infection, which is the gateway again to meningitis, because we had to tell him all his medical history, etc. to meningitis, and they advised us that we needed to do chest x-rays, you know, all kinds of different tests, etc. And I was, you know, worried sick. So of course, okay, he advised us not to fly. The next day, he couldn't stop us because the flights were already booked. But because of the pressure on the airplane, he did advise it, because if it got into his bloodstream again, he would have probably had meningitis again. And I wouldn't want anyone to go through with it with any of their children, because it is really not nice. Now, So of course I said, okay, how does this work? Obviously I've paid €400 for a deposit. He said, I don't know, I'm a doctor. So they sent some English speaking people in, and she said to us, do you have insurance? And I went, yes. She said, well, don't worry about it. The insurance will cover it. We need to keep you in as well. We need to put them on antibiotics. So they advised me to phone the insurance company, of which I did. Now, when I phoned the insurance company and I said, look, being advised not to fly, my son's not well, he's got an outright infection, we can't risk it because I don't want him to have meningitis again. Don't want it to get to that stage. They said, yeah, no problem. They wanted permission to go to the doctors to get all his medical, to make sure we haven't lied in the insurance. When you fill out the insurance, make sure you haven't hidden anything. Because if you actually hidden something, they can actually not pay out for you. So they might not even pay the insurance if you lie. So no matter what you've got, always be truthful. Doesn't matter how much it costs. It's always worth being truthful. And I found this out. I didn't lie. So, okay, I said fine. They said to phone up, we was flying with the EasyJet, to phone EasyJet up and speak to them about transferring our flights. So I phoned EasyJet up. They said there's nothing they can do because not really. We need to get hold of the insurance. But if the insurance doesn't do anything to get back to them, and they're trying to sort something out, which I thought was really nice of them. So I phoned the insurance up and they said, that's fine. But however, they would only pay for one parent to stay with my son. They would not pay for me and my daughter to stay out. And of course, I was like, I can't fly him. I can't leave my partner out there with my son and I fly back. That's just not going to happen. So I said fine. So obviously I cancelled the flights. Anyway, they admitted him into the hospital, put him on antibiotics. Cut a long story short, he was actually in there for 2.5 days. Give him antibiotics, started clearing. So with that, they said he can leave the hospital, but they would only let him leave the hospital once the insurance had paid the bill. Now, how much do you think the bill was? Bearing in mind he had X-rays. He had chest X-ray to check his lungs, which he had a bit of bronchiolitis as well. They said he had all these other tests. 2.5 days in the hospital. Mum was in the hospital with him. How much do you think? Comment below how much do you think it cost, and I'll tell you the cost in a few minutes time. Just comment below how much do you reckon. So with that, the insurance paid out. We could leave Goldie Insurance. They said, do you want us to book her, your missus, Tammy and my son a flight home? I said no, I will do that because I'm still out here, because I paid to stay out there. Paid extra at Laguna Park 1, which it was great. They looked after us, to be fair. They extended the stay. Even my mum and dad stayed out there. They extended their stay. Wasn't a problem. We had to move rooms, but anyway, I couldn't. The staff was brilliant. I said no, I'll book the flights, and then I'll send them to the bill once I'm back home, etc. Keep the receipts. So that's what I did. It cost, for 6 of us to get back, was 700 quid on flights. The insurance paid out for my daughter, for my son and Tammy, and they paid for the 1 night accommodation that we were staying, because the next day we flew back. So we was there for 13 days in the end. Now, when my son was in the hospital, I got speaking to an elderly gentleman outside of the hospital, and his wife, the day before, they was due to fly home, fell off a curb, tripped off a curb and broke her leg. She was in the hospital for a week. She had to have an operation. So they had an operation, and when she was cleared to go home, the insurance. Luckily, she had insurance. The insurance was paid out. But they had to fly a nurse out from the UK to fly back for her, just in case anything went wrong. But their bill was €30,000 for breaking a leg. €30,000. Imagine if that old couple actually never had insurance. €30,000. I'll tell you another quick one as well. I was at Laguna Park 1, where my son was still in hospital. We went back to have food, and I was speaking to a lady there, and I was telling her about why we haven't gone home yet. My son's in hospital, and she said her friend flew out to Tenerife the year before. She was diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer. So she decided she wanted a holiday, and she flew out by herself. She got travel insurance. A couple of days later, the family tried phoning her, couldn't get in contact. Ended up flying out to find out that she had a stroke in the apartment. In the hospital she goes. Again, she was out there for a couple of weeks. When she was going to, be able to come home, they said, you've got to sort the bill out now. And the bill was around about €30,000 again. She said, no, I got insurance. Well, when she got the insurance, now this is why it's important to always be truthful. When she got the insurance found out that she was diagnosed with cancer, and she didn't tell the insurance company that she had cancer. So therefore, the insurance won't pay. They won't let her leave the hospital until the bill's paid. The family had to get together and find €30,000 or pounds out so she can go home. Now, there's a couple of different stories. The old couple that had insurance, €30,000 for a broken leg, insurance paid out. The lady had told a lie in the insurance, to the insurance, about her cancer. They wouldn't pay her. She bought the insurance, but they just wouldn't pay her. So that's why always be truthful when you're booking your insurance. And it doesn't matter how much it costs. Now, it normally costs me, I think when we flew last month to Tenerife, it was around about £45 for me, Tammy, and the 5 kids. And I always go for the 5-star as well, and always the top one. I try not to, always put down 0 excess, because it's always worth paying the extra and not paying the excess. So £45. When my dad generally flies, it costs, I don't know, because of his age, I don't know, probably £100, £200, whatever it is, but it's worth it. It's always worth it. Now, I'll tell you how much the bill cost. So for my son to have 2.5 days, as I said, in the hospital, was €5,000. €5,000. The insurance paid out. I had to pay £100 excess, because at the time I had excess to pay, which was £100. They give me my €400 back minus the £100, which was good. They paid out for the flights to get us back. They paid for the extra night accommodation. They paid for the food for them, and they also paid for his prescription that I had to go to the pharmacy and get. So this is the reason why always have insurance, guys. I would never ever go on holiday now after that without insurance. Never. When I was younger, didn't bother having insurance. But it doesn't matter how old you are. You can fall off the curb like that old lady did and break a leg. Alright, people go, well, we've got the UK health card, global health card. Yeah, it's free. Fantastic. But that only gets you discount on it of what the locals would pay. It's not health, it's not your insurance. You need insurance separate. I have the UK global health card. It does give you a discount. So yeah, amount of people that like I said, amount of people I speak to, young people that doesn't have insurance. Great, you got away with it the first time, had a nice holiday. Second time, what happens if you fall over and you don't have money because you're on a budget? You've saved up a year or even 2 years to have this holiday, and then you're stuck with a big bill and they won't let you leave the island or even leave the hospital without paying this bill. So it's worth paying, guys. It really is. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you a bit about that and why you should and how important it is to have travel insurance. So yeah, if you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up, guys. It does help the video get out there. It does push it along. Subscribe if you. It's about 50% of you that watches the videos are not subscribed. It's free to do. Just hit the subscribe button. It really does help. Now, I'm also, if I can get up to 50 subscribers, well, it's actually about another 20 subscribers before the end of March. So we're now in January, the beginning of January. Before the end of March, I can get 20 odd. I'm going to fly back to Tenerife and I'm going to do some more videos for you. So do give us a subscribe, guys. It really does help, and a thumbs up. And yeah, guys, don't forget to get insurance, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep on rocking.